Alright guys, so we're going to do a quick rough and ready kind of range and motion assessment here on the leg press. So basically what I want to know right now as a coach is I want to know roughly what the end range of motion is going to be for Paddy on this exercise. Because, you know, I could have had a client that came in before who was comfortable bringing the weight all the way down to their chest, like knees to their chest with no problems. Whereas Paddy might report that, oh, you know, when I get down to the bottom, my back gets a bit sore, or having some sort of complaint, you know, whatever it might be. So ultimately we're trying to achieve some degree of individualization here. So I'm going to get Paddy to basically start with one leg on the actual plate, and then what I'm going to get him to do is to bring that leg off of the plate as far as he can bring it. So what we're simulating here is Paddy doing the leg press range of motion. So this is the most amount of range of motion that Paddy can get actively as he pulls that hip up forward. I might be able to push him a little bit further, but it's not very much. There comes that point where I know that the pelvis and the lower back is now lifting up, and they're going to be taking greater amounts of load then during the exercise. Now, that might be something that you plan for in your programming. It might be something that you're aware of, but if we're just trying to train the lower body here, and I'm just trying to keep everything on those muscles, then it might be the case that I look at that range of motion that Paddy's achieving and I say, okay, that's probably going to be our starting point. So go there again for me, Paddy. So he's around there. If I push him a bit further passively, he might get another 1 or 2 inches, but roughly it's going to be somewhere around that kind of position where he can get to actively. So now I'm going to get you to perform a rep for me as you would, Paddy. And I'm going to keep my hand here. And then that's likely to be around the bottom of the end point. Can you come down further? Any more there? See what's happening there, guys. If you do come down further, what you'll see happening is he's losing his tension all through here. So what he had at the beginning was a nice arch in the lower back. However, now we've got the bum, the pelvis tucking up under him, and we're losing that tension and that tight positioning. So pressing up again and back down, and let the weight down for me on the plates again as you were. Now, another component to that assessment, guys, might be trying to see if there's a difference between sides, because this is somewhere where you will see some issues with people who potentially they might have a history of hip injury or something like that. So if I see that, you know, if someone comes into me and they're saying, hey Gary, you know, I've actually got a history of right hip pain, or I had previous surgery and that hip always feels stiff, then when we're doing a bilateral exercise like the leg press, I might have to account for some of those discrepancies in range of motion, strength, or whatever it might be, whatever quality we're looking at. So this time, you know, Paddy, I'm going to get you to lift the left leg off for me. Okay, there, and do the right leg for me again. And roughly the exact same position, okay? So if someone's just off by an inch or two, I'm not going to be sweating that, you know, that's not something we need to massively plan for. But if I have someone coming in who has a previous injury history and they're showing, you know, 90 degrees of hip flexion on the left and 120 degrees on the right, then that's something we do have to plan for. Because if we're doing this leg press and we're meeting the standard of the right leg, which is 120 degrees, and we're using that weight to force the hip that only has 90 degrees, that might present us some problems either now or in the future, or it might just simply adjust the training stimulus that we're actually applying. So that's how you can put a very basic, rough and ready, quick range of motion assessment into practice on the leg press, whether it be proactively in terms of just getting your client started, or whether it be reactively if your client is reporting some sort of unwanted symptom during the leg press and you're trying to potentially see what the cause of that might be. So hope that's helpful, guys.